I'm Robert from Paid Content. Question for Stefan. So you were invested in or were involved in an earlier hot UK music startup, Last.fm, which subsequently sold CBS, and whatever's happened has happened, and it doesn't seem to be quite what it once was. Now there's another hot UK and Swedish music startup called Spotify. So trading on your Last.fm experience, I was wondering, in Spotify's absence, whether you could advise them, you know, having learned what you've learned, what would you do in Spotify's shoes?
So I actually learned that in the end all advice from grey hair guys is pretty crap, and I'm seeing some grey hairs here. I think Daniel is actually one of the best entrepreneurs we're having. Daniel Ek, the founder of Spotify, we're having in the European scene. And he simply has to crack the last missing Warner guys. Yeah, I mean, it's all about the rights, the US rights, and there are lots of forces from Apple and the likes who are against it. I think the team. They're actually doing a fantastic job in just focusing on delivering the kick-ass best product, and it is certainly the best product out there, and I love it that most innovation in the whole digital space, I mean, let's face it, Europe hasn't done a beautiful performance compared to the US guys, but in music we are actually leading the way, and I love that we have with Spotify and others like Songkick in the event space, that we do have some European contestants. But advice, frankly, they don't need my advice, they know what they do.
If I could follow up question to Joe and Will, the other two guys having already sold their companies to larger entertainment companies. So I'm thinking ahead to possibly after you two hit your targets. I know Shazam is on course for something crazy like 100 million users years end, something like that.
That's correct, yeah.
What happens after that?
200 million.
Do you keep going, or do you IPO, or do you sell to one of the bigger guys that some of you talk about negatively about the larger entertainment business tonight? Is that the destination for a startup?
I think you can't focus on that as a business. You have to focus on the product and making a kick-ass experience, and it's satisfying millions of users. That's what you've got to focus on. If you sat around, racking your brains about who's going to buy my company, that's not the way to go about it. You have to create a killer service.
So if we would have in December 2006 drawn a list of 10 potential companies who might buy last year, CBS would have not been on the list. So it's useless to even care.
That's a good point about CBS. So we're going to head over back to the front as well. To be honest, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing, which is, we've got to focus on kind of the fundamental basics of the business and how we execute on them. Now, the day that I took VC money, I spent 10 years in the past working for a large soulless listed company. And the day that I took VC money, I kind of consigned myself to going back there one day, a good scenario, right? Or potentially listing, I guess, and creating a large soulless company myself. I don't know. Just in jest. It's not the focus, right? Like, I've got to help my investors recruit their investment and make some money at some point. There's no question about that. That's my job. It's a big part of my job. But I know the way that I get there is by not saying that's what I'm trying to do. It's by how do I make a business that my consumers love.